Hi everyone, this is Toaster from Sun Guardians, and we're still waiting for people to get connected overall. We got a couple of us here. Mike Pierce, aka Mackay from Rudis Lounge, has joined us. And I see Kevin, I see Jeff. Once we get more people connected, we'll get into the meat of the meeting.
The meat.
I know I use some interesting choices of words sometimes. I did some new promo for Queer Burners, and I put breeding, leadership, and people kind of like, what? Because gay people call straight people breeders, Yeah.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing.
That's
Come
like
on,
in Harry
Jeff. I thought you were
Potter.
hipper than that.
In Harry Potter, the goblins call wizards wand carriers.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Can we make a Harry Potter themed camp one year?
We'll do that next year.
Okay.
How's
I'm gonna
that?
hold you to that. Yeah.
I'm already planning on doing Kali next year, right?
Kali? What's a Kali?
The Hindu god of death.
Oh my God, you're so insane.
Well, I wanted to do it this year, but it was too much planning. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
There he is.
I might be a little insane.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Ray.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. Let's see. Mary's joining Kevin, so that leaves us with at least one other connection if we need it. I don't know if Hunter will be joining us or not. At
Nah,
least
Hunter's
just to,
out.
what's that?
Hunter's not.
Okay.
I don't think so, at least.
I would think after the email, he's probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. What we found out is one of our leads isn't coming back this year, a month before departure, and importantly, because he handles all of our technical stuff, electricity and sound. So I think I had a small stroke after I read Jeff's text message about it. So that's one news flash. So we're down a lead,
Yeah, I
which
wanted to give you
leaves
that heads
Kevin.
up with
Wave
the
your
figure.
hand. Which leaves Kevin. Wave your hand, Kevin. You're a lead. And Ray. Wave your hand, Ray. He's a lead. Oh, he just wants a thumb up. Always the rebel. All right.
Jeff, you were saying something?
Oh no, nothing important. Just yeah, I figured Scott, you would want to know as quickly as possible, so that's why I sent you a message.
Yeah, I didn't see the. I don't normally check Gmail, so
Yeah, I figured.
I didn't see that.
Are there people listening to this, by the way?
There's supposed to be people on a different link that is watching us talk about this stuff.
That's so awkward.
Is it? Well, we got too many people to have them in this showcase. I see Paul. Hello, Paul.
Hello. Sorry, I'm walking right now.
Yes, you always seem to be somewhere.
I know. I just
Hey,
got
Sam, how are you?
Yeah, I just put some headphones in. Can you all still hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you fine.
Perfect.
All right. So I just want to kind of get this moving forward. So I published a agenda. Oops. Go away. Okay, I published an agenda here on the Facebook group. We're going to kind of stick to this. Let me answer a couple of these messages real quick because they're people that's supposed to be in the meeting. Okay. Just make sure it's not something important. Okay. All right. So I want to welcome everyone. We do have a few new people that have signed up, and we've got some really good energy coming into the camp, and I'm really excited about it. Let's see. How do I get out of this? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to get back. There we go. And we got some really good energy coming into the camp overall. And now that we're starting to finally have some cross-communication with Rudist Lounge, I've got Mike Pierce here from Vegas. Some of you have met him already because he teaches the Rudist yoga in our camp already. Mike, why don't you go ahead and take the floor here and talk about Rudist Lounge a little bit.
Hi, well, hello everybody. Glad to be here. Glad to join the camp. Rudist Lounge is essentially an 18, it's about a 20 by 20 octagon that is a temple, not temple, but like a peak Indian-looking based setup. We will have about 30 people in our camp. We will have a front chill lounge area for everybody, as well as the gifting tree. The gifting tree will be in front next to the fire pit, and that tree will be 24/7. It will be come leave a gift, come take a gift. The lounge is dedicated to dedicated to healing work and energy and yoga and meditation, that kind of thing. This year we're doing no front-facing events to the public. Obviously, everything's going through Sun Guardians, and all the classes are going through the temple there. So it's just basically kind of a chill space for everybody, and good times.
Right on. And I've talked to Danielle and Crystal, who might coordinate with you, Sam, and maybe Kevin a little bit with just some of the stuff going on. It sounds like they want to help out with our greeting thing for our Tuesday night event that we're hosting, camp leaders from across the playa. So if all goes well on Tuesday night, we're going to have a lot of people in camp visiting. So the idea is on that night that we're going to have some really overzealous greeters telling people how great they are when they come in. It's just a kind of a thing to, just kind of sell it to those people. Mike, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Essentially we'll, we're going to be we'll do some fire spinning, just so you know, out in the street in front of us. A couple of us are fire performers, and then we will also have, we're going to go through some flow of what we're doing as far as some drinks that we're giving out to our campmates. We'll be joining you guys Wednesday night for the all camp dinner, and then we'll be assisting with various items as needed. We're going to have a pretty decent group of campers. Everybody's got a job title. A couple of things to note: we will have a map posted as far as where our camps go. We have lead positions that will be posted. Pictures will be next to the lead position names. So if you're ever looking for somebody, you'll be able to go to a certain place and see what name correlates with what position, so you know who you're looking for as far as us leads go. And then as far as the lead structure goes, there's Danielle, there's Crystal, and then there's myself and Ken, and then there's some other people if you can't find us. We do have someone who's a ranger. Crystal, she's a ranger, so she's camping with us as well. So she's kind of like our Rudist ranger or whatever. If we need anything, deal with anything, she'll handle it for us if it's if something has to happen. But other than that, everything should be pretty simple, pretty chill. I've been doing Burning Man. This will be my 19th year in a row. So I've stayed with many camps. I've done many things. I've participated in many ways. And I'm excited to join Sun Guardian, as well as the Looters Lounge is excited to join Sun Guardian. And much gratitude and very appreciative.
All right, thanks, Mike. And is there still that possibility of an art car coming to your camp?
We do have an art car coming for sure. It depends on how big it's going to be. If we get the, it's right now it's going to probably be six to eight people easily. But the potential, if the wagons are done, meaning the coaches, it's going to be possibly 18 up to 18 people to be able to haul. It is basically Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. So that's the story there.
All right, thanks so much. And we're just going to go ahead and jump into the rest of our agenda, but it was great seeing you again.
You too, brother.
Thanks for joining us. Take care, Mike.
Ciao. Nice meeting everybody. See you in the dust.
Right on. All right, so we'll just go ahead and jump into some of our other topics on our list. I wanted to talk briefly about the wish list. Mary wanted to expand upon that. Is Mary here yet?
She is not here yet.
Okay.
We could talk a little bit about volunteer sign up while we're waiting for Mary.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and talk about that a little bit. And also keep in mind that also leaves us an opening on the meal schedule with Hunter and Gina leaving.
For sure.
And I've already cleared that on the schedule, but yeah.
Okay.
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. So, and Sam, definitely jump in as well. We do have a couple of openings still on the schedule for meals now that a couple of our folks are not going to be able to join us after all. And Sam also assigned a few people who did not have meal assignments.
And I highlighted those, and it's posted on Facebook as well.
Great. So please take a look at your meal assignments. There are also spaces for you to fill out what you'll be making that night. It's just great to share that information with everyone ahead of time so that we're all aware, and then that just avoids having the same things a couple nights in a row. There are also some volunteer slots available during the days for various shifts. So our hope is that each one of us will sign up for at least one of those slots each day of the week. And it covers things like doing kind of a MOOP patrol in the morning, just checking around the camp for MOOP and disposing of it properly, going on an ice run, being a greeter, helping with tea service, so various things that we're looking for people to sign up for. So if there's a blank and you see that being a good time for you, please drop your name in there, and we'll be looking to button down all of those assignments over the next few days. And then we'll probably do an outreach in a week or so to let you know if we have any other gaps in the schedule. So if you're not signed up for a meal, please do so. And as Sam said, there were a few of you who had not signed up, and so we've gone ahead and assigned you to a couple of open spots. So please check those out.
Yeah. We might end up with a couple of extra people to fill Hunter and Gina's spot. I'm not sure. But if we don't, we'll just keep everybody posted, and hopefully somebody will be available to step up for those spots. And I'll have to go back through the schedule and delete what they've signed up for in terms of other volunteer positions as well. I think Hunter was signed up also for the Wednesday large dinner, so we're going to have to find somebody to take that over.
That's just leads. So Kevin, I just put Kevin in the slot because
Okay.
his name wasn't on.
Okay. Trying to think what else. I mean, that's pretty much it. Oh, and then we have to figure out how we're gonna get our shit together in terms of electrical and technical, which was what Hunter was helping us with. So, if anybody has any skills they'd be willing to offer, you can reach out to me. Like if you are skilled with.
I'm going to interrupt you a little bit on that one, only because I have some ideas on how we can work around that. My concern, and maybe Jeff can shine some light on this, is, you know, it's potentially that we're losing our second solar panel. Hunter.
That was my follow-up question. Yeah, is what?
Yeah. So my understanding is that Hunter still does want to send in the solar panel along with some speakers, and he's going to put it on a shipping container that's leaving from Boston, and some of us will go and pick it up once it gets to the dust.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Yeah, we can update that on the Google Doc if you want.
All right. Well, we'll work it out.
Scott, are you good in terms of getting it actually set up, like getting the battery hooked up to the solar panel and
no, but we're also going to be in close proximity to Comfort and Joy. So we first had Giorgio set that up, and Giorgio is Comfort and Joy, and I'm going to talk to him and see what help he might be able to provide, unless we got somebody in camp that knows about this kind of stuff. Because I look at the equipment and I just start drooling because I have no idea what to do with it.
I've set it up a non-solar. I know how to do it. I haven't done it with solar. I've done it with gas, like a generator before, but I'm sure it's not that different. I know that you have to have a charge regulator for the battery, so where you're not overcharging the battery with the solar panel.
Yeah, and it's kind of left some question marks overall for our setup, but we'll have it worked out. Doug is also working on a generator. He's already pretty much sure he's got a generator for us as an alternative, and then we're good, but I just want to make sure that we're solid, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Are there any more questions on that with regards to volunteering? That's a possibility that, you know, everybody should have at least one volunteer role a day, and it's also going to be helpful if, you know, maybe you bounced next door and said, "Hey, Crystal or Danielle, do you guys need help with anything?" But it's important to make sure our camp is presentable and ready for everybody, you know, for guests as they're coming in. Is Mary here yet?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God, the Uber ride from hell.
So if you would talk about the wish list for us, please.
Sure. So the wish list is out there. It's on Google Docs. Every email that I've sent out, I've published it along with the with the email. It's also posted up on the Sun Guardian site as far as a link to get to it. I know that off the top of my head, we're pretty much covered. I know some things that are outstanding are more food items like coffee and Gatorade and alcohol, whiskey and tequila. In particular, the vodka's covered. There's a few other items, but not, as far as I remember, not a lot of big ticket items. I think we've gotten the tables. I don't know if we've got the shelves yet, Scott. I don't know if we need a couple more 6-foot shelves for the kitchen.
Well, I was going to talk to you about that. I was going to ask you if we needed them from your point of view. Only, you know what we had last year.
I think we're fine with what we had last year because we're not doing a big pantry. Everybody's on their own to bring their own snacks.
Yeah.
And what was in one of them was all of the food stuff. I mean, all we really need for is the coffee and the tea and things like that.
Pots and pans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coffee, which are all in tubs anyways.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's no secret that I'm trying to cut back on expenses.
Yeah.
So if that's an expense that we don't need, then I'd rather, get rid of it.
Oh, for sure. So if you just look at it, if there's something you want to either purchase and then keep afterwards, that's totally fine. If you want to purchase it and donate it, that's acceptable as well. If it's too big or too liquidy to carry because you're flying out or it's just not convenient, you can always either A, send me the money, or B, ship it to my house. I have capacity in my garage to store things. So know that there's options for those of you that haven't had an opportunity to go look at it or take a gander as to what we need.
I mean, and speaking to that too, on some level, talk to us before that assumption is made that you're just going to have something shipped or want us to take possession of something. There was a lot of stuff that was just kind of left behind last year. And then we were beating ourselves senseless trying to get it all packed and off the playa. And I even had to make a deal with another camp to have stuff brought back for us. So I'd rather avoid us being trapped on the playa trying to manage stuff that we just don't have the space for.
So can I also
anything else, Mary?
Yeah, I wanted to talk just a little bit about the kitchen, since so many people in our camp are new. So the way the kitchen is going to be, the diagram's on the site, so you can go look at that. But pretty much everything will be there that you need as far as utensils. We'll have a 3-burner gas-powered stove. We have a Weber grill. We'll have I have like 3 frying pans, one with a lid. I've got a couple of 16-quart and one 24-quart stock pot to cook in. There's knives, there's cutting boards, there's anything you would find most everything you would find in a normal kitchen. The way everybody's expected to bring their own silverware and plate or some eating utensil receptacle. And how we had it last year is there was a clothesline set up, and everybody's dishes after the meals, once they were washed, were put in a 2-gallon Ziploc bag and hung up. So everybody, mealtime, you go get your silverware, your plate, your bowl, whatever it is, your cup, and then, after your meal, you clean it and put it away. So that's kind of the process. This year is a little different in that and I know we mentioned this earlier, but since there's been so new people joining, is that if you cook a meal, you clean it up. And that way, if you're a clean it up as you go kind of person, then your cleanup's not going to be horrific. But if you're not a clean up as you go and everything's everywhere, some poor soul doesn't have to come in and clean up your mess after you. You're charged with doing that. And I think that'll help in mitigating the whatever, right? So that's a new thing. And I just mentioned this before, but want to reinforce it that if you want snacks outside of meals, you need to bring them yourself. We will have, coffee, tea, Gatorade, and some alcohol. But, realistically, if you need apples, you need protein bars, you need nuts, whatever it is, bring it, by all means. Another thing that's on the list for all campers to bring, even though we've got water that's going to be available to our camp, it's always a good idea to bring emergency backup because there's not anywhere to get it, buy it. Maybe you can beg for it, trade for it, get it gifted to you, but be responsible and bring some extra water. And then we're also asking each camper to bring a roll of paper towels for drying, for whatever reason. Use them as dish towels, and then we'll just burn them afterwards, as opposed to the towels that we used last year.
And I just want to jump on that a little bit too. I mean, because this is actually an agenda item later in the list that you talk about was actually an agenda item later in the conversation. No reason not to hit it now. But also, every camper is expected to bring a chair. Bring a personal chair. And then the recommended water to bring in for emergency water is 1.5 gallons a day. That's just the general rule, as it were. Anything else, Mary?
No, not for the kitchen. Any questions about the kitchen? If you think of it, email me or.
I didn't hear your last part.
I guess
Go ahead.
Is someone trying to?
I have one question about the wish list.
I think your camera's freezing, Ray.
This is bad for some reason.
I think, are we losing Ray?
We're losing Ray. We lost. Oh no,
It's bad.
He's moving.
their connection's not very good.
He says, my connection is bad, let me reset. He said to chat out.
Okay.
Yep.
What about you, Kevin? Do you want to touch anything else, or Kevin or Sam on volunteering?
Well, I have a quick question regarding water. Are we going to have a water tank at all, or are we just completely packing in our own water, as opposed to last time?
No, we're having a water tank. We got the
Okay.
same 500-gallon tank we had last year.
Okay. Cool.
And we will have a gray water tank as well for disposing of gray water that's going to be connected to the shower. We have a brand new 3-basin stainless steel sink for the kitchen that will be hooked up to hot and cold running water. So we're going glam this year. It's going to be
Don't say that. We don't want these people feeling spoiled.
well, it's going to be a guilty pleasure for sure. But
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have a really nice setup in the kitchen. The only other thing I was going to add, Toaster, is that I know many of you are new to the Playa this year. So Virgins, many of you probably have friends and others who you can rely on for information. But we have a bunch of resource docs that I will be posting for you on the Sun Guardians page. To consult prior to heading out. So, and if you have questions, please post those, and the camp leads will respond and get back to you with answers to your questions. So, we want to make sure that you guys have ample resources and ability to fire away at us with any questions that you have about getting to the Playa or how to be prepared. There are lots of good packing resources and other sorts of things that you're going to find there. So take a look at those. I'll get them posted in the next day or so.
And Mary, this is Paul.
Hi.
And we're getting ice every day. What is the ice used for?
So every day, ICE will be we'll gather money for ICE. There'll be people that have volunteered to go get the ice and bring it back in the wagon that Mike donated, and the ice is used to replenish the ice chests. So if your ice chest is one of the ones that's used to store food in the community area, ice will be bought for it and loaded into the ice chest on a daily basis. If you have a personal...
I think it's also important to be noted that the ice also goes to the beverage service too.
Yes, the Gatorade.
Gatorade and tea.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have a personal ice chest, then you have to get your own additional ice for that ice chest.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Or if you want ice.
No, wait a minute. I think I didn't understand something. I want to make sure. The ice that we get is split out between the different ice chests, so everybody gets iced from that bank of ice.
But if you have a personal ice chest, like in your tent, then you got to you're responsible for getting your own. So bring
Yeah,
cash.
if you need beyond that.
Yeah, because it ain't cheap.
It's not cheap, and they only take cash.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Groovy.
All right. So the next topic, unless Ray, did you now that you're back, did you want to ask your question?
I was going to say regarding ice, if I can volunteer to be like ice captain, I was going to suggest that we send around like a donation link or some kind of PayPal link and get all the money up front, and that way I'll just be responsible for bringing the cash for the week, rather than going around and collecting it on site from everyone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that idea because it was.
Yeah, it was a little haphazard last year, so that's a great idea, Ray.
Okay, so I'll create like a PayPal like link and send it to the group, and then everyone just like donate, $20 or $10. We'll figure it out based on head count and projected ice chests, and then I will be responsible for bringing the actual cash to the playa.
Okay, awesome.
All right, sounds good. Mary, did you have something?
No.
All right, so the next section I want to talk a little bit about what you can kind of expect on a daily routine out at camp, because I know that we have a lot of new people. We do have a lot of burgeons. Every day it's important that the camp basically be ready not only for its residents, but for the visitors. We're going to be in a high traffic area. We're going to be in an area where we're going to have a lot of guests in our space. Guests do not go backstage. I mean, and when I say guests, I'm talking about wads of people. It's not for public access to be backstage. I mean, if you do have a personal guest, in camp, that's different. But when we have guests in camp, they stay in the courtyard, temple, Rudis lounge area, but they don't come into the kitchen and hang out. They don't hang out in the dining room unless it's like somebody that you're directly engaged with. So in the morning, there's setting up beverages, making sure that we have water, Gatorade ready. For 3 days of the week, there's a tea service that needs to be set up first thing in the morning, and then somebody will run and get ice. The temple might need to be fluffed. The mooping might need to be done. And then somebody, while that's going on, then somebody will be making brunch, for example. So brunch will be served probably somewhere between 10 and 11 o'clock later in the morning, so people have a chance to get some sleep and they can still eat. During the day, we have most of our workshops somewhere between 10:30 and 2. A variety of yoga, meditation during those times. The schedule has been published on that. And then at 6:30 is when we'll meet for dinner circle. And about that time is when dinner should be ready. Now, dinner circle involves us just getting together in a circle, connecting with each other, and any announcements for the camp are done at that time. And if there's any thing that we need to talk about as a group, it's a good time. But if it's anything that needs a lot of attention, needs a lead specific to handle, that can be done outside of that circle. But this is like saying, hey, I'm going to go climb on the art piece, or hey, I'm going to White Ocean tonight, does anybody want to come? Or it might be a lead saying, hey, you guys have been kind of sloppy in the kitchen, we need to do a bit better job at that. Stuff like that will come up at the dinner circle. Let's see. The concierge, greeters, those are just basically what you're going to see at the front gate, welcoming people into the camp. If there's a class that's already filled out, and we're an hour into an hour and a half class, you're going to have to tell whoever's coming in that, hey, I'm sorry, but we're all filled up right now. And it's also going to be that person's job to make sure that bikes aren't blocking the road. We have bike racks coming this year that are that'll help us manage that. This is our first year having bike racks, and they're going to be really needed this year because the temple space is going to fill a lot of people. Mary, you want to talk about the whiteboard a little bit? Do you want to go into that?
Here. So in the common area, the camp common area, there's a big whiteboard, and it serves as a kind of reminder of what's going on for the day. It also serves as, we found last year that sometimes people would come into camp, guests, and go, hey, I want to leave a message for Ray. Where can I do that? Put it on the board. You know, and that way people could direct Ray to it when he got back to camp. It also talked about, I think, didn't we put up there who was doing the meal for the day, or
Yep.
the schedule is to kind of, so not everybody has to commit, oh my God, today is Friday and I'm supposed to be cooking and I forgot, right? So the schedule's up there for people to go peruse. Because it does, time does seem to elude people at Burning Man. Things get in the way. So it's always a good reminder to kind of go check that on a, you know, in the morning and or in the evening or whatever makes sense for you. Anything else about the whiteboard? It was really useful last year, super useful.
Yeah, it is super useful. It's also a chance, like if somebody wanders in the camp and they say, hey, you know, I'm looking for Paul, or, you know, something like that, and say, hey, just go ahead and leave a note on the whiteboard, and then you know, whoever it's for will see it when they come in. So it's kind of important for you to just at least look at it, you know, as you pass through camp during the course of the day. We'll have it in the dining room area up on the wall. Let's see. Are there any other questions about daily routine? Something that's also going to be really important is handling the water tank. Only leads, and when I'm saying leads, that includes department leads, can handle the water tank. So the named people at this time would be me, Kevin, Ray, Jeff. I keep wanting to say Hunter, and did I say Mary? And Doug, and Jet's fine too. But these are the only people that should be handling the water, and you'll get to know those people pretty easily. We just don't want any damage to the water pump, and we want to make sure water is not wasted. I am a bit of a water Nazi, so watch out.
You've been forewarned.
So strict.
I know. All right. So one of the things, like I like to, like last year, you know, I like to have Wednesdays off, you know, from, you know, having to chase things around. We're going to kind of try and rotate, the leads are going to try and rotate days. You know, when one of us is more the lead than the other. Like last year I woke up on Wednesday and I saw Nato out there already filling the water for things that were needed to be done. Stuff was already getting done. The temple was already being cleaned. That was just one of the happiest moments that I had last year. And, you know, you can find your happy moments in the strangest ways. But waking up and finding that all that stuff was being done already just was a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, yeah. It's just, that's kind of how the routine works for the day. So the next subject that we want to get into, unless there's any other questions, is about meals. I published a document under the files section on the site, on the Sun Guardians page, which talks about how to plan your meals. And I believe when I put up the daily schedule, I put an estimation about how many people you can expect to be there for the meal when it's delivered. There's a calculation that I do when I'm doing food service that I think will work for people in general. Hold on, my computer's just running a little bit slow here. Second. Sorry, the computer's slow. Come on. All right. So there's a Files tab. Come on.
Uh-oh.
Files tab on the screen up at the top here. And as you scroll down here, there's a document that... Oh, now why don't I see it? I was all ready to show you. All right, now I don't know where it's at, but I'll make sure that it gets republished. The it tells you basically how to calculate your proteins and how to calculate your non-meat proteins, so we have enough for everybody that is vegetarian or vegan. If you're doing vegetarian, do as close to vegan as you can. Basically, you know, you're using olive oil instead of butter, stuff like that. And then in your preparation for meals, Mary brought to the table, you know, a lot of ideas about, you know, bringing pre-cooked or canned product out, stuff that doesn't need to be refrigerated. And Mary sounds like she's got some really good experience in that area. Feel free to hit me up, too, if I can be helpful. I saw that look, Mary.
So the idea is, think about, so last year Kevin and I had dinner on the Friday, like deep into the week. We're like, well, what are we going to make? How can we keep it cold? So we ended up making, you know, couscous with dried fruit and nuts, canned chicken and feta cheese, and then we did a Moroccan salad with garbanzo beans and a spice cake. So nothing had to be refrigerated. It was tasty and really pretty easy to put together. So kind of think outside the box and what you can do. And realistically, the canned chicken was really pretty tasty.
Yep. Yeah, the dressing for that salad I did make up ahead of time, and I just put that in the cooler. So everything else we just had either canned or didn't need to be refrigerated. So, or the cheese we actually refrigerated, of course, but the cake we didn't have to refrigerate, amazingly. It held up really well.
And then it kind of on the converse of that is, the first year I went to Burning Man, I cooked for a different camp. And I ended up making a lot of meat. I cooked for the art build team. So I was making dinner for like 12 to 15 people every night. And what I ended up doing is preparing a lot of food in advance, cooking it like meatballs. I would cook the meatballs, and then I would use one of those shrink wrap machines, a food saver thing. And then I would boil the kind of like the boil in the pouch stuff, so it didn't get anything dirty. All you did was cut it open, and when it was cooked through, or heat it up, really, it was already cooked, and then served it. So that's another, but again, and then froze everything, and then brought them to the playa that way. So I made everything from meatballs to, I don't know, chili, Scott.
Ew.
I made vegetarian chili with portobello mushrooms. I made all sorts of things and brought it out that way.
Well, chili is evil, and nobody likes it. So.
In your mind.
Oh, well, especially Melanie's chili. How's that?
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Melody isn't here to defend herself. That's not fair.
I know.
No, Melanie, not Melody.
Oh, Melanie. Oh, well, yeah. I'll let that one pass.
Our Reno girl. No, I absolutely love Melody, and I wish to God she could be here this year because I just loved her energy.
Same.
Actually, I'm missing a lot of people this year. All right. Let's also talk about what beverages will be available on camp. Mary already kind of went over that a little bit. We do have, we did take a survey, kind of see what people wanted as far as booze was concerned. We do want to have a supply of booze in camp for people.
And that's got the wish list has the booze. What I did is I took the survey results and I did a poll of, how many tequilas, how many vodkas, blah, 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 blah. It was pretty even between vodka, tequila, and whiskey. I think we had one gin drinker. It was really very cut and dried. So that's why I made the recommendation I did of alcohol for the camp.
Gin goes with the chili.
Yeah, I don't gin. I agree. It didn't bother me like it did before.
What was that?
I said it didn't bother me like it has in the past.
All right. Yeah. So, and then what we do usually get is we get a large supply of powdered Gatorade. We make sure we have a 5-gallon container with ice started during the day, and we fill it just as needed. And we also have a 5-gallon container of water. We have 5 or 6 5-gallon containers that we'll be using for a variety of things, including tea service. We'll do 10 gallons of tea for the tea services, and then when it's gone, it's gone. That's just how we're going to handle that. And yeah, so we're basically going to do the same thing as last year in that area, but hopefully in a nicer area. Just a couple things that have come up while we've been talking. Talking to Ray just now about tables. I think the people that are in the meeting can see it on the chat. I think at this point now we have 6 tables in total, including Ray's. That's for 6-foot folding tables. Are we feeling we need more? Should we talk about that now?
Sure.
Ray, do you want to have anything on that?
I was going to say, well, if we have the space to set up, especially with our Wednesday dinner, where we can set up, one long table. Obviously, we'll have a sidebar about decor and how it's actually going to go down on Wednesday night. But if we use the temple, or if we can use a big dining hall, if you will, that special night, it would be great to have as many tables as possible so we can all sit together as a big unit, rather than how we normally just kind of break off into small sections for dinner.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, we do have a purposed dining area in the group area, but for the camp, the big camp party meal, we can definitely take all those tables over to the temple. Is that what the plan is? Mary, you're working on that you're leading that one, right? Or who's leading that one? I forgot.
Yeah, me and Mary and Kevin.
You and Mary? Oh, okay. So this is your guys' call. If we need more tables, then we can add them to the list. I'm sure Rudis Temple has tables they can probably throw into the pile, just for the night, if that's helpful.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. And then
one other thing.
I got another question.
I'm just going to throw out one more comment about when you were mentioning the food preparation guide and as far as volume per person.
Yeah.
In general, based on last year, I would say let's err on the side of shorting the volume per person, because leftovers are kind of evil in the sense that no one ever really ate them, and then they just take up space in coolers / trash bags.
Yeah, well, we don't want to cut off our nose to spite our face at the same time. If we follow that formula that I put out there, it should be pretty accurate, to be honest with you, because we don't want to be short, because I don't want anybody going without. And if we do have leftovers, I think what we'll end up having is a little bit better, clearer definition of what's accessible for people if they come in late and they're hungry. And we've already taken steps to greatly reduce the crap that we have to deal with in the end, I think. So I don't want anybody not to be fed, is basically what I'm saying.
Okay.
So a couple more questions have come up while we've been talking. Maya has messaged me asking what kind of, let's see, hold on. Can we keep a short list of daily things that need to happen, move, maintenance, etc.? Yeah, we can post a list of those daily items that need to be done. We'll go ahead and create that before and get it printed out before we leave. So Maya also says, Maya says something about if you have some loose time on your hands and you're just kind of hanging out, look around and check the board and see if I should check this or that. So, and then I get a message from Jim asking about the burn barrel. The burn barrel is for people to hang out and put a fire in there if they want. Jeff is going to be the lead on. Jeff is taking the lead position on the burn barrel, but he's responsible for it. But what he's going to do is if you're hanging out in camp for the night, he's going to say, do you take responsibility for the burn barrel? And if you do, that means you got to stay with the burn barrel until it's completely extinguished. So that's the only way we can run the burn barrel. So those are those two questions that have come up since we started. All right. So this is the time when we can start talking about projects. The first one on the list is mine, and then we get into the kitchen,
Scott?
the shower. Yep.
Can I go first? I have like 2% left on my phone. It's going to die on me.
You said that when I was talking to you earlier today, and you're messing with us.
I did not. For the bikes racks, we're going to have basically what you would see at a bike race from the staging areas at a bike race, the conduit pipe, and we found a canopy.
Is that Paul?
Yeah, it's Paul.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said the same thing Jeff said to me earlier. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I found a corner piece used for canopies, a pipe fitting piece, and we're going to attach a conduit pipe 10-foot pole at 4 racks, and that's our current plan. I have a small team helping us with that in Mary's garage. Thank you. And that's the plan. Any questions?
So I had a conversation with Mike Pierce at the beginning of our meeting that was offline. And he seems to be under the impression that you're building the bike racks for him as well as Sun Guardians.
That was my impression too. He wanted 6 before.
So the idea was that Brutus Lounge was going to build half of the bike racks.
Oh, that's good.
We don't have to have a huge amount of bike racks.
Okay.
Just, give us something that will cover us. If the plan that you showed me was for 40 feet of bike racks,
right?
So we had for both camps. Then do me a favor and just check in with him and see if he'll pick up for half that bill.
Okay.
Because we need bike racks, and hopefully if he continues as a theme camp, he'll need bike racks.
Right.
But I think he's on a tight money crunch just as much as we are. So.
Okay, so we will build them, but they'd help pay for them.
Yeah, because I wanted them to take on half the bike racks and us take on half.
Gotcha.
So if we did 20 feet and 20 feet, that's fine.
Okay.
As long as we're making an effort.
Gotcha.
All right. Anything else on bike racks?
There is not.
All right. All right, so I'm going to bounce back over here. And then we're going to talk about the shower, the camp sign, the tea house, and the art pieces for the courtyard. Just to give you a quick update on the prayer flags, all the ones that I've received, I've got most of them sewn and ready to go. And they are absolutely beautiful. You guys did such an amazing job And all the guys that ordered theirs and had them delivered, good job too. Those look really good as well. So we should have a really nice display with the prayer flags for everyone. Mary, do you want to get into the status of the sink?
I'll let Kevin do that because I've not worked on it directly.
Okay.
Oh.
So as I mentioned earlier, we have a stainless steel 3-basin sink, and the purpose of that is each basin holds a different type of water. One for washing, one for sterilizing, one for rinsing. So we'll label those. It'll be pretty clear as well. But that's where you'll do the washing for your dishes after each of the meals. As Mary mentioned earlier, everyone's expected to wash, rinse, and put away their dishes and hang them up for the next meal. And we'll have a clothesline with bags for you to do that. So when you're thinking about what type of utensils to get, think about something that's not too heavy. So that it will actually hang up there on the line. So plasticware, that sort of thing, tends to work better than like heavy ceramic.
Yeah, I'd like to comment like how Jake had this heavy, serious mug that he put up on the wall with a heavy plate. So it would never stay up. It would always fall crashing down to the table, which was really funny. It's a Jake moment. For those who didn't know Jake was with us 2 years ago and has since passed away, and with some loving memory out to him. Right on. All right, so the next section is about the shower. I don't think Doug or Jed are with us because they're selfishly on a plane to Rome right now.
Yes.
But the pictures are looking pretty good. They've got that under control. Picture of the sign. I'll see if I can post what they've been sending me, just so everybody can kind of see what's going on. So we have a new sign going up this year and a new shower. And one of the nice things about this shower, it is hot water on demand. But as noted before, I am the water Nazi. So we just don't want to abuse water. We had somebody come into camp last year who didn't realize that we had a shortage and just had that thing running. After a small stroke and a bit of Tourette's, I educated the person on what not to do with the shower. So we'll just be more careful with what's going on with the shower. Hey, what's next? Tea house. This bounces over to Ray.
Tea house is going to be fabulous. Duh. I'm working with Mary and Christy. They got a bunch of fabric in pinks and oranges, as our color coordination is every year. And I bought a chandelier. We have a bar set up with floral on either side, so if people come, it's going to be a little experience. Have pillows. So that's coming together very nicely. We just need to figure out the actual, logistics of the tea service and how people can actually enjoy the space.
Did we lose him?
I think he froze again.
You froze. Well, you did this really interesting look on your face and the screen froze, and I don't remember where we lost you at.
Can you hear me now?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're good now.
Sorry.
You seem to be good
Basically, I
now.
just said everything coming together nicely. The last piece of the puzzle is figuring out the flow of traffic for the guests who actually come and want to stay inside the tea house versus just being at the window like last year.
Okay. And so you know what we're doing with the tea. So hopefully you kind of understand how just the tea service will work as far as what we're putting out. So we want people to be able to get their beverage and then move on. I don't know what. I'm completely, hands off as far as what you're doing, and just as long as we're able to serve the tea and people can, exit and come as needed. So, does that sound right? Oh. Okay. I think Ray's frozen again. Okay. Next subject. Bike racks, Paul already got that. Courtyard. So right now I am working on the last of the temple decorations, by the way. And then hopefully tomorrow I'm going to go and start finding some pieces, and I'm trying to find stuff that I get free or really cheap to make some interest pieces for the courtyard. And my proposal to Burning Man to get us placed, I described interactive pieces that needed to be in the courtyard. So far, the Rudist Lounge's gifting tree is present, but what I was calling the hexadrome and other things are not at this point, and they're still in development. And I'm talking to Jim Henry about maybe helping me out this weekend on getting something built. I've got plans for 2 different items. I've also talked to Wendy Hiller about one of the projects, and we'll just see what we can get done with the time that we got left. And budget, which we'll talk more about later on, is always going to be an issue with this because we just do not have extra funds for stuff. Did I miss anything, you guys?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think one comment that I learned the hard way the first year, and you may have talked about this already, if you don't have rebar to stake your tent down, go get it. Tent stakes will not work. You will see your tent fly across the playa. And I've seen my tent do that.
And don't do what I did, which is I got these big, fat, yellow stakes that are like 18 inches tall, and they were impossible to get out. They were like the opposite problem. Like rebar is the happy medium. So yeah, rebar is the way to go.
And we have sledgehammers that are part of the camp inventory that you can pound them into the ground in, so don't think you've got to get all these special tools. And we have vice grips to pull them out and strong guides to do that with. So, but make sure you have rebar to hold if you're tenting.
All right. So then we're going to talk a little bit about documentation. We have a lot of stuff out there, and the important documents are linked at the top of the Facebook group. It's important that everybody understand how to access that. I get people messaging me like, how do I get to the volunteer list and stuff like that. And all of these are contained in Facebook. Hold on, I'm trying to get to that. Or they're linked to different Google Sheets. Everybody should be familiar with these right now. In fact, today, for the early arrival team, I put a post and asked everybody on the early arrival team to please go and take a look at their name on the list. Make sure I have the email address. I have to have the email address that is on your burner profile so I can send you your early entry pass. Now, Jim King, Jim Henry, Wendy Hiller, and Evan Hughes are all added to the early entry list, I think, from the original list. We've had a few people fall out and a few people get their early entry passes from another direction. We've been able to expand that list, and now I'm just trying to figure out the final who's who on that list. So please make sure that you've checked that and you put in your initials for exactly what the email address should be. Does anyone have a question? We've lost a few people here. Okay. All right. Then I want to talk about budget. So financially, the camp right now is tight on funds. So if there's any expenditures, make sure that you've discussed those with me first. And you know, I'm kind of like waffling. I don't want to like tell people that I need to increase the camp fees. I'm trying to work around that, but we're really just on the edge right now. And then we need just to make sure we get all of our transportation resolved to get everything out there. And that's something that Ray and I have been bouncing ideas off each other for. So, yeah, Jim, the volunteer list is still there. Yeah. So if you're having trouble finding it, just look at the link at the top of the page, and you'll find it linked there.
Yeah, you have to
But as
scroll
far as
through the entries.
what's that?
It's toward the top of the entries, but you just scroll down, like it's like the third entry, I think, is the volunteer list.
Yeah, you just have to click the See More button.
Yep.
But going back to budget, yeah, things are tight. We still have the chance to fill some more slots, but the caveat for a lot of people still are tickets. I had 6 people that needed tickets in camp. At this point, I'm down to 2. And I'm hoping to, get some more going on. I've got one guy that wants to sign up, and I really want to get him on board with our camp, but he also needs a ticket. So he's not dropping the cash to sign up for camp, of course, until that happens. We're getting towards the end here, so we can wrap this up soon. Hold on, I'm just trying to check something real quick. Does anybody else have anything before we start wrapping up?
Nope. I was going to say, do you think we'll have at least one more all hands meeting before the playa?
Yes, definitely. We'll cover any points that we need to still hit on. I think one of the important things we need to make sure, and it's probably a good thing to mention it now, is when it comes to managing trash when we leave the playa, everybody is going to be responsible for taking some with them. Everybody that comes in through Burner Express is going to be given 2 bags. You're going to be given a recycle bag and a trash bag. The recycle bag doesn't include aluminum cans, but it includes recyclables and other categories. You will take those with you back to Burner Express as full as possible when you leave, and then they will dispose of them. So everybody coming in through Burner Express will give your bags to Kevin when you come in. Is that clear to everyone? Hold on, I'm getting more messages. Is that me or is that somebody else? Okay, I keep hearing messages on Facebook, but it's not me, it's somebody else. All right. All right, so that about wraps up that. So next month, probably earlier in the month, we'll have another meeting and connect one more time. Everybody should see this video and acknowledge it by commenting in the end, because there's just no excuse for missing meetings. We've had a few people that have just not been present. You're not making yourself known on the discussion board, and you're not making yourself engaged in the volunteer list, and you're not, making yourself a part of what this little micro community is supposed to be about. So we need to have that, and it's kind of obvious who that is and who that isn't. So I'm asking you to please make an effort. Whether it's just liking a comment, adding a comment, or asking a question, show that you're engaged, and I really would appreciate that. Any final words from any of you guys?
No.
No, this was
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be talking in the meantime. Adios.
See you soon.